I had my Christmas all planned out. Then, my parents brought him home. And they said Santa would have to be fair with the gifts. That's when I knew Christmas was ruined. His name was Ben. He was 7. 2 years younger than me, which should have meant I was in charge, but instead it meant my parents treated him like he was made of glass. Like if anyone said the wrong thing, he'd break into a million pieces. They told me about him 2 weeks before Christmas. We were sitting at the kitchen table eating dinner, and my mom had that look on her face. The one she gets when she's about to say something she thinks I won't like, but she's going to say it anyway because she's the mom and I'm just the kid. "Lily, honey," she said. "Dad and I need to talk to you about something important." I knew right then it was going to be bad. Nothing good ever started with, "We need to talk about something important." "We've been working with an adoption agency," my dad said. "For a while now. And we've been matched with a little boy who needs a family." I stared at them. Adoption. A little boy. None of this made any sense. "His name is Ben," my mom continued. "He's 7 years old. He's been in foster care for 2 years. And he's going to come live with us. He's going to be your brother." Brother. The word felt wrong in my mouth. I didn't want a brother. I liked being an only child. I liked having my parents' attention all to myself. I liked my room being just mine. I liked not having to share anything with anyone. "When?" I asked. My voice sounded small and far away. "Next week," my dad said. "He'll be home before Christmas." We thought it would be nice for him to spend his first holiday with his forever family. Forever family. That's what they kept calling us. Like we were already a family with this kid I'd never met. Like he already belonged here. "But what about Christmas?" I said. "What about our traditions? What about just the 3 of us?" My mom reached across the table and took my hand. "Lily, honey. Now there will be 4 of us. We'll still do all our traditions. We'll just include Ben." Include Ben. Like it was that simple. Like adding another person to our family was like adding sugar to your cereal. Easy. No big deal. But it was a big deal. It was the biggest deal. Because Christmas was my favorite time of year. And my parents knew exactly what I wanted. They knew I'd been asking for the American Girl doll with the red hair since October. They knew I wanted the art set from the fancy store downtown. They knew I wanted the new bike with the basket on the front. That made me feel a little better. At least I wouldn't have to actually share my room. At least I'd still have my own space. "What if I don't like him?" I asked quietly. My mom smiled. "Give him a chance, sweetie. He's been through a lot. He's probably just as scared as you are. Maybe even more scared. You get to stay in your home with your parents. He's leaving everything he knows to come live with strangers." I hadn't thought about it that way. Hadn't thought about Ben being scared. I'd only thought about how this affected me. How it ruined my plans. How it made everything complicated. "Why him?" I asked. "Why did you pick him?" My parents looked at each other again. "We met several children," my mom said. "But when we met Ben, we just knew. He needed a family. We had room in our family. It felt right. It didn't feel right to me. But no one was asking me." Ben arrived on a Tuesday. December 13th. 12 days before Christmas. I remember the exact date because I'd been counting down to Christmas on my advent calendar, and that was the day everything changed. He showed up with a social worker and 2 garbage bags full of his stuff. 2 garbage bags. That was everything he owned in the world. For some reason, that made me feel weird. I had a whole room full of stuff. He had 2 garbage bags. He was small for 7. Skinny. With messy brown hair that looked like no one had cut it in a while. He had big eyes that looked scared and a little bit sad. He was wearing jeans that were too short and a jacket that was too big. My mom knelt down to his level. "Hi, Ben. Welcome home. We're so glad you're here." Ben didn't say anything. Just looked at her. Then at my dad. Then at me. "This is Lily," my mom said. "Your sister." Sister. There was that word. Tying us together whether I wanted it or not. "Hi," I said, because my mom was looking at me with that look that meant I needed to be polite. "Hi," Ben whispered. His voice was so quiet I could barely hear it. The social worker had a meeting with my parents in the kitchen. Ben and I were supposed to go to the living room and get to know each other. Which was awkward because I didn't want to know him and he looked like he didn't want to know me either. We sat on opposite ends of the couch. Not talking. Not looking at each other. Just sitting there in uncomfortable silence. "Do you like Christmas?" I asked finally, because the silence was too weird. Ben shrugged. "I guess. We do a lot of Christmas stuff," I said. "We decorate cookies. We watch movies. We drive around looking at lights. We have a lot of traditions." "Okay," Ben said. "Our traditions," I added. "From before you got here." Ben looked at me then. Really looked at me. And I felt bad for saying it like that. For making it clear he wasn't part of the before. That he was only part of the now. The unwanted now. "Sorry," I mumbled. "I just mean we've been doing them for a long time. Since I was little." "I'm little," Ben said quietly. And he was. He was 7. He was little. But I was 9 and I felt very old in that moment. Old and mean and not like the kind of person who should be anyone's sister. My parents came back into the room with the social worker. Everyone was smiling except Ben and me. The social worker left. My parents showed Ben to his room. The guest room that was now his room. They'd decorated it with new bedding and put up some posters and filled the bookshelf with books they thought a 7-year-old boy would like. Ben stood in the doorway and stared. "This is mine?" he asked. "This is yours," my mom said. "Forever. You don't have to leave. You don't have to pack your things in garbage bags anymore. This is your home now." Ben's eyes got watery. Like he might cry. But he didn't. He just nodded and went into the room and sat on the bed. My parents left him alone to adjust. Which meant they came to my room to make sure I was adjusting too. "How are you doing, sweetie?" my mom asked. "Fine," I said. "It's okay if you're not fine," my dad said. "This is a big change. For all of us." I said I'm fine, I repeated. Because I didn't want to talk about feelings. Didn't want to admit that I was jealous and angry and scared that everything was different now. That night at dinner, Ben barely ate. Just pushed food around his plate and looked at the table. My parents tried to make conversation, asking him about his favorite foods, his favorite colors, what he liked to do. He gave one-word answers. Yes. No. Okay. I don't know. I ate my dinner and didn't say much either. What was there to say? Everything felt wrong. Like someone had taken my family and replaced it with this awkward, uncomfortable version where no one knew how to act. I'll try to be a good brother, Ben promised. I don't really know how. I've never had a sister before. But I'll try. I'll try to be a good sister, I said. I don't really know how either. I've never had a brother. But we can figure it out together. Ben held out his hand. Like we were making a deal. I shook it. Deal, we both said. My mom came into the living room and saw us sitting together. What are you two up to? Just talking, I said. About how next Christmas, we should have even more traditions. Brother and sister traditions. Like what? Ben asked. I don't know yet, I said. But we have a whole year to figure it out. And every Christmas after that. Every Christmas, Ben repeated. Like he was testing out the words. Forever. Forever, I confirmed. You're stuck with us now. Ben smiled. The biggest, happiest smile I'd seen from him. Good. I like being stuck. That night, after everything was cleaned up and all the presents were put away, I went to Ben's room one more time. He was in bed, looking at one of his new books. Hey, I said from the doorway. Hey, he said back. I just wanted to say I'm glad you're here. I know I didn't act like it at first. But I am. Glad, I mean. Ben put down his book. Really? Really, I said. Christmas was different this year. But it was good different. And I think next year will be even better. Because we'll both know what to expect. We'll both know how to be a family. I'd like that, Ben said. Knowing what to expect. That sounds nice. I started to leave, then turned back. Oh, and Ben? If you ever want to talk or anything. About being scared or about missing your old life or about anything. You can talk to me. That's what siblings do. Thanks, Lily, Ben said. And if you ever want to play games or read books or do art stuff together, you can ask me. That's what siblings do too, right? I'd planned the perfect Christmas. Just me and my parents. Everything exactly how I wanted it. But this Christmas, the one I got instead, was better than anything I'd planned. Because it included Ben. My brother. The person I didn't know I needed. The person who changed everything. And I wouldn't change it back. Not even if I could. Not even for the perfect Christmas I'd imagined. Because this Christmas, the real one, the messy one with the broken ornament and the scared 7-year-old and the drawings hung on tree branches, this Christmas was real. Was ours. Was perfect in its own imperfect way. Merry Christmas, I thought as I drifted off to sleep. To all of us. To our family. To the Christmas that was ruined but actually turned out to be the best one yet. Because that's what happens when you make room. When you share. When you let someone new into your life and your heart and your carefully planned Christmas. It gets better. Different, but better. And that's the best gift of all. And now they were going to have to buy stuff for Ben too. Which meant less money for my presents. Which meant sharing. Which meant my perfect Christmas was already ruined and he hadn't even moved in yet. Does he have to come before Christmas? I asked. Can't he come after? Like, in January? My parents looked at each other. That look they do when they're communicating without words. The look that means they're about to tell me something I really don't want to hear. Lily, my mom said gently, Ben doesn't have anywhere else to go. His foster home needed the space for another child. He needs a family. He needs us. And we've made a commitment to him. But you made a commitment to me first, I said. The words came out louder than I meant them to. I was here first. I'm your real daughter. You are our real daughter, my dad said firmly. And Ben will be our real son. Both of you are our real children. That's what adoption means. It means family. Forever. I didn't say anything else. What was there to say? They'd already decided. They'd already picked this kid over having a normal Christmas with just me. They'd already ruined everything. I went to my room and slammed the door. Which I wasn't supposed to do, but I didn't care. I threw myself on my bed and stared at the ceiling. My room. My space. The one place that was just mine. My parents told me I had to share my room. I told them Ben could sleep in the hall. That didn't go over well. They came to my room that night after I'd calmed down. Both of them sitting on the edge of my bed like they used to do when I was little and afraid of the dark. We know this is hard, my mom said. We know you're used to being an only child. But Lily, having a brother is going to be wonderful. You'll have someone to play with. Someone to share things with. I don't want to share, I said. I like my stuff being my stuff. We're not asking you to give up everything, my dad said. We're just asking you to make room. Ben is going to need his own space too. We're going to set up the guest room for him. You'll still have your room. Your privacy. Your things. After dinner, my mom suggested we watch a Christmas movie. We always watched Christmas movies in December. It was one of our traditions. But now Ben was there, sitting on the couch in my spot. The spot I always sat in, next to my mom. I sat on the other side, next to my dad, and tried not to be obviously annoyed. But I was annoyed. Everything about Ben being there annoyed me. The way he sat. The way he was quiet. The way my parents kept looking at him to make sure he was okay. What about me? What about making sure I was okay? The next morning, my mom announced we were going to decorate the Christmas tree. Another tradition. Usually, my dad and I would go to the tree lot and pick out the perfect tree. Then we'd bring it home and the three of us would decorate it together while Christmas music played and my mom made hot chocolate. But this year, Ben was there. And my mom said we should let him help pick ornaments from the boxes. Let him put some on the tree. Make him feel included. I didn't want to include him. But I didn't say that. I just got out the ornament boxes and started unwrapping the decorations we'd collected over the years. Each one had a memory. The snowman from when I was 3. The angel from when I was 5. The special glass ornament my grandmother had given me before she died. That one was my favorite. It was delicate and beautiful, with intricate patterns etched into the glass. My grandmother had told me it was special. That I should take care of it. That it would be mine to pass down someday. I held it carefully as I unwrapped it. This one is special, I told everyone. It was my grandmother's. It's really fragile. We have to be careful with it. My mom nodded. We'll put it up high where it's safe. But Ben was looking at it. Really looking at it. It's pretty, he said. It's mine, I said. Maybe a little too sharply. Ben's face fell. He went back to looking at the other ornaments. Not touching anything. Just looking. We decorated the tree. My parents let Ben put up some ornaments. The non-special ones. The ones that wouldn't matter if they broke. I put up my special ornament myself, on a high branch where no one could accidentally knock it down. The tree looked beautiful when we were done. Covered in lights and ornaments and tinsel. It looked like Christmas. But it didn't feel like Christmas. Not with Ben there, making everything different. The next few days were weird. Ben was quiet. Always quiet. He'd sit in his room or follow my parents around the house like a shadow. He didn't talk much. Didn't play much. Just existed in our space, taking up room, changing everything. My parents kept trying to get him to open up. Asking questions. Offering activities. Suggesting things. But Ben just shrugged or gave short answers. It was like he was a ghost. There but not there. I tried to ignore him. Tried to pretend things were normal. But they weren't normal. He was always there. At the breakfast table. On the couch. In the house. Existing in my space. 5 days before Christmas, my mom took us both shopping. She said we needed to pick out gifts for my dad. Usually, this was something just me and my mom did. Our special thing. But now Ben was coming too. Sitting in the back seat. Being included. At the store, my mom asked us both what we thought my dad would like. I suggested a book about woodworking because I knew he'd been wanting one. Ben didn't suggest anything. Just looked at stuff and didn't say anything. What about you, Ben? My mom asked. What do you think Dad would like? Ben shrugged. I don't know him. And that was true. He didn't know my dad. Didn't know any of us. He'd been here less than a week. But my mom looked sad when he said it. Like it hurt her feelings that Ben didn't feel connected to us yet. We bought the woodworking book. And some nice pens. And a scarf. Then my mom said we should look at the toy section. Maybe you two can pick out something to play with together, she suggested. Together. Why did everything have to be together? Why couldn't I just do things by myself like I used to? We walked through the toy aisles. I looked at the dolls and the craft sets. Ben looked at the action figures and the cars. We didn't look at anything that was for both of us. Because we were different. We liked different things. We weren't the kind of siblings who played together. I picked out a craft set for making friendship bracelets. Ben didn't pick out anything. My mom asked him what he wanted, but he just shook his head. I don't need anything, he said. My mom bought the craft set for me anyway. And she bought Ben a set of cars. Even though he said he didn't need anything. Even though he didn't ask for them. Because she wanted him to have something. Wanted him to feel like he belonged. 3 days before Christmas, disaster struck. I was in my room working on homework. Ben was supposed to be in his room reading. My parents were both downstairs making dinner. And then I heard it. The crash. The sound of something breaking. Something glass. I ran out of my room. So did my parents. We all got to the living room at the same time. Ben was standing by the Christmas tree. His face was white. His eyes were huge. And on the floor, in a million pieces, was my grandmother's ornament. The special one. The one I'd said was fragile. The one I'd put up high where it would be safe. What did you do? I screamed. I couldn't help it. The words just came out. That was my grandmother's. It was special. You broke it. Ben's eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry, he whispered. I just wanted to look at it. I didn't mean to drop it. You weren't supposed to touch it. I yelled. I said it was special. I said it was mine. Lily, my mom said sharply. That's enough. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't nearly enough. Because Ben had ruined everything. First he'd ruined Christmas by existing. Now he'd ruined my grandmother's ornament. The one thing that was truly special to me. I started crying. Big, angry tears that I couldn't stop. My dad came over and hugged me. I know you're upset, he said. But it was an accident. Ben didn't mean to break it. I don't care if he meant to, I sobbed. It's still broken. And it's still his fault. I looked at Ben. He was crying too. Silently. Tears running down his face. He was shaking. My mom was kneeling next to him, talking quietly. Telling him it was okay. That accidents happen. That we'd clean it up and it would be fine. But it wasn't fine. It would never be fine. Because my grandmother's ornament was gone. Broken into a million pieces. Just like my perfect Christmas. I ran to my room and slammed the door. I threw myself on my bed and cried until I couldn't cry anymore. I heard my parents cleaning up the broken glass. Heard my mom talking to Ben in a soft voice. Heard my dad's footsteps coming up the stairs. He knocked on my door. Lily? Can I come in? No, I said. But he came in anyway. Parents don't really ask permission. They just pretend to. He sat on my bed. Didn't say anything for a minute. Just sat there while I cried into my pillow. I know that ornament was special, he finally said. I know it meant a lot to you. And I'm sorry it broke. But Lily, Ben is 7 years old. He's been in foster care. He probably hasn't had nice things. He was probably curious about the pretty ornament. He didn't break it on purpose. I don't care, I mumbled into my pillow. I still hate him. You don't hate him, my dad said gently. You're angry. And hurt. And those are valid feelings. But Ben is part of our family now. And families forgive each other. Families give each other grace. I didn't ask for a family with him in it, I said. I know, my dad said. But this is the family we have now. And I'm asking you to try, Lily. I'm asking you to give him a chance. Give this a chance. After my dad left, I lay on my bed and stared at the ceiling. I could hear Ben crying in his room. I could hear my mom comforting him. And I felt bad. Not bad enough to apologize. But bad enough to feel guilty for yelling at him. That night at dinner, no one said much. Ben didn't eat again. Just sat there looking miserable. My parents tried to make conversation, but it was forced. Awkward. Heavy with everything no one was saying. After dinner, Ben went straight to his room. My mom followed him. My dad and I cleaned up the kitchen in silence. Is Ben okay? I asked quietly. He feels terrible, my dad said. He thinks you hate him. He thinks we're going to send him back. Are you? I asked. And I realized I didn't know what answer I wanted. Part of me wanted them to say yes. Wanted things to go back to how they were. But another part of me, a smaller part, felt bad for Ben. Felt bad that he thought he could be sent back like a package with the wrong address. No, my dad said firmly. Ben is our son. This is his home. Forever. No matter what. Even when he makes mistakes. Even when things are hard. That's what family means. I nodded. But I didn't really understand. How could Ben be my dad's son when he'd only been here a week? How could this be his forever home when he'd barely unpacked his garbage bags? 2 days before Christmas, my mom sat me down for a talk. Just the two of us. In my room. With the door closed. I need you to understand something, she said. Ben has been through things you can't imagine. He's been moved from home to home. He's lost people. He's been told he's wanted and then been sent away. He's learned not to trust. Not to hope. Not to believe that good things last. Okay, I said. Not really sure where this was going. When he broke that ornament, he wasn't just sad because it broke. He was terrified. Because in his experience, when you make a mistake, bad things happen. You get yelled at. You get punished. You get sent away. He thought we were going to send him back. I felt something twist in my stomach. But you told him you wouldn't, right? We did, my mom said. But he doesn't believe us yet. He's waiting for us to change our minds. Waiting for this to end. That's why he's so quiet. So careful. He's trying not to mess up. Trying not to give us a reason to send him away. I thought about Ben. About how quiet he was. How he barely ate. How he never asked for anything. How he looked scared all the time. That's sad, I said quietly. It is sad, my mom agreed. And that's why we need you to be patient with him. Kind to him. To show him that families don't give up on each other. That he's safe here. That this is real. But what about me? I asked. What about my feelings? I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for a brother who breaks my stuff and ruins Christmas. Your feelings matter too, my mom said. And I'm not asking you to pretend everything is perfect. But I am asking you to try. To think about what Ben is going through. To remember that you have something he's never had, a stable home, parents who love you, a room full of things that are yours. He has garbage bags, Lily. That's all he came here with. Garbage bags. I felt tears in my eyes. Not angry tears this time. Sad tears. Because my mom was right. I had so much. And Ben had so little. And I'd been so focused on what I was losing that I hadn't thought about what he'd already lost. I'll try, I said. I'll try to be nicer. My mom hugged me. That's all I'm asking. Just try. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Ben. About his garbage bags. About him thinking he'd be sent back. About him being scared all the time. I got up and walked to his room. The door was cracked open. I could see him lying in bed, awake, staring at the ceiling. I knocked softly. He jumped, startled. It's just me, I said. Can I come in? Ben sat up. Nodded. He looked confused. probably wondering why I was there after I yelled at him about the ornament. I sat on the edge of his bed. Didn't know what to say. How do you apologize to someone when you're not really sure you're sorry? When you're still angry but also feel bad? I'm sorry I yelled at you, I finally said. About the ornament. I know it was an accident. Ben looked at his hands. I'm sorry I broke it. I really didn't mean to. I just thought it was pretty. I wanted to look at it closer. It was pretty, I said. My grandma gave it to me. Before she died. That's why it was so special. I didn't know that, Ben whispered. I'm really, really sorry. We sat in silence for a minute. Then I asked, are you scared? About living here? Ben looked up at me. His eyes were wide. Kind of. I keep thinking your parents are going to change their minds. That I'll mess up and they'll send me back. They won't, I said. And I realized I believed it. My parents weren't the kind of people who gave up. Who sent people back. They really won't. When they say forever, they mean it. How do you know? Ben asked. Because they're my parents, I said. And they've never lied to me. Never broken a promise. If they say you're their son now, then you're their son. Forever. Ben's eyes got watery again. I've never had forever before. And that broke something in me. Some hard thing I'd been holding on to. Some angry, jealous thing that dissolved when I really looked at Ben and saw him. Not as the kid who ruined my Christmas. But as a little boy who'd never had a home. Who'd never had parents who kept him. Who'd never had forever. You have forever now, I said. And I guess that means you're stuck with me too. As your sister. Ben smiled a little. The first real smile I'd seen from him. Is that okay? Me being your brother? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I don't know yet, I said honestly. This is all really weird. And I'm still mad about my ornament. And I'm still getting used to you being here. But I think maybe it'll be okay. Eventually. Okay, Ben said. I can wait for eventually. Christmas Eve arrived. My parents had invited my grandparents and my aunt and uncle and cousins over for dinner. Our traditional Christmas Eve celebration. Except now we had Ben. Who didn't know any of these people. Who looked terrified when everyone started arriving. I watched him shrink into himself as the house filled with family. Watched him sit in the corner. Watched him not talk to anyone. And I remembered what my mom had said. About showing him that families don't give up. About helping him feel safe. So I did something I hadn't planned to do. I went over to him. Want to help me set the table? I asked. Ben looked surprised. But he nodded and followed me to the dining room. We put out plates and silverware together. I showed him where everything went. Told him about the different relatives who were coming. Warned him that my cousin Jake was loud and my Aunt Susan asked a lot of questions. Just stick with me, I said. I'll make sure you're okay. Ben looked at me like I'd offered him the world. Really? Really, I said. You're my brother now. I guess that means I have to look out for you. During dinner, I sat next to Ben. When my Aunt Susan asked him questions, I answered for him when he looked too scared to talk. When my cousin Jake got too loud, I told him to quiet down. When Ben didn't know which fork to use, I showed him. My parents noticed. I could see them looking at me with proud, happy faces. Like I was doing something good. Like I was being the person they wanted me to be. And maybe I was. Maybe being a sister meant putting someone else first sometimes. Even when you didn't want to. Even when it was hard. After dinner, we always opened one present on Christmas Eve. It was tradition. My parents would let me pick one gift from under the tree to open early. Usually, I picked the biggest one or the one I was most excited about. But this year, there were presents for Ben too. Wrapped in the same paper as mine. Looking just as special. And I realized my parents had gone out of their way to make sure Ben felt included. To make sure he didn't feel different. "Lily, why don't you pick first?" my mom said. I looked at the presents under the tree. Saw one with my name. Saw several with Ben's name. And I thought about Ben with his garbage bags. About him never having a real Christmas. Never having presents with his name on them. "Actually," I said, "can Ben go first? It's his first Christmas with us. That seems more special." My parents looked surprised. Ben looked shocked. Like he couldn't believe I'd give up going first. "Are you sure?" my mom asked. "Yeah," I said. "I'm sure." Ben carefully picked a present. Unwrapped it slowly, like he couldn't believe he was allowed to. Inside was a set of books. Adventure stories. His face lit up when he saw them. "Thank you," he whispered. "I love books." "We know," my dad said. "We saw you reading in your room. We wanted you to have some new stories." Then it was my turn. I picked a present and opened it. It was the art set I'd wanted. The fancy one from the expensive store. I thought maybe my parents wouldn't get it because they had to buy stuff for Ben too. But they had. They'd gotten me exactly what I wanted. "Thank you," I said, hugging both my parents. That night, I couldn't sleep. I was thinking about Christmas morning. About all the presents under the tree. About what Ben would think when he saw them all. About whether he'd believe this was real. That he got to stay. That this was his family now. I got up and went downstairs. The Christmas tree lights were still on, making the living room glow. All the presents were arranged underneath, wrapped and tagged and waiting. I saw the pile for Ben. It wasn't huge. About the same as mine. My parents had been fair, just like they said. And I realized I was okay with that. More than okay. Because fair meant Ben got to have Christmas too. Real Christmas. The kind where someone buys you presents and wraps them with care and puts your name on them. I heard footsteps behind me. Ben. He was standing in the doorway in his pajamas, looking at the tree. "Couldn't sleep?" I asked. He shook his head. "I keep thinking I'm going to wake up and this will all be a dream. That I'll be back in foster care. That none of this is real." I walked over to him. "It's real," I said. "All of it. The presents are real. The tree is real. This family is real. You're not going anywhere." "How do you know?" Ben asked. "Because I know my parents," I said. "And they don't make promises they don't keep. When they said you're their son, they meant it. When they said forever, they meant it." Ben looked at me with those big, scared eyes. "Are you sure?" "I'm sure," I said. "And I know because they told me the same thing when they adopted you. They said you were my brother now. Forever. Whether I liked it or not." Do you? Ben asked quietly. Like it? I thought about the past 2 weeks. About how angry I'd been. How jealous. How much I'd resented him for ruining my perfect Christmas. But I also thought about tonight. About helping him at dinner. About letting him open a present first. About how good it felt to make him smile. I'm getting there, I said honestly. It's hard. Because everything changed. But I think I'm starting to like having a brother. Even if he does break my stuff sometimes. Ben smiled a little. I'll try not to break any more stuff. Good, I said. Because if you break my new art set, I'm going to be really mad. We both laughed. It felt good. Normal. Like maybe we could be real siblings. The kind who fight sometimes but also look out for each other. Want to see if we can guess what's in the presents? I asked. Ben nodded eagerly. We sat by the tree and picked up presents, shaking them gently, trying to guess what was inside. Ben was smiling for real now. Laughing. Looking like a normal 7-year-old on Christmas Eve instead of a scared kid who thought he didn't belong. This one sounds like Legos, he said, shaking a box. This one might be clothes, I said, making a face. I hope it's not socks. I like socks, Ben said. My foster home never had enough socks that fit. I looked at him. Really? You like socks? He shrugged. When you don't have stuff, even boring stuff seems good. That hit me hard. Because I complained about getting socks for Christmas. Complained about practical presents. But Ben would be happy with socks because he'd never had enough. Never had the luxury of complaining about boring gifts. I'm sorry, I said. That you had to live like that. Without enough stuff. Without people who took care of you right. It's okay, Ben said. I'm here now. With you and Mom and Dad. This is better. Yeah, I agreed. It is better. For both of us. My mom found us sitting by the tree at midnight. What are you two doing up? She asked, but she was smiling. Couldn't sleep, I said. Too excited for Christmas. Both of you? Mom asked. Both of us, Ben confirmed. Mom sat down with us. Your first Christmas together, she said. As brother and sister. How does it feel? I looked at Ben. He looked at me. Good, we said at the same time. And then we laughed because we'd said it together. It feels good, I repeated. Different. But good. Mom hugged us both. I'm so proud of you, Lily. I know this hasn't been easy. But you've been kind to Ben. Patient. That means more than you know. I wasn't at first, I admitted. I was pretty mean. You were adjusting, Mom said. You both were. But now look at you. Sitting together. Talking. Laughing. This is what I hoped for. This is family. We stayed up for another hour, the three of us, looking at the tree and talking about Christmas morning. About the traditions we'd keep and the new ones we might start. About how different this Christmas was from what I'd expected, but how it might be just as good. Maybe even better. Finally, Mom made us go back to bed. Santa can't come until everyone is asleep, she said. Ben's eyes got wide. Santa? Santa's coming here? Of course, Mom said. This is your home now. Santa knows where to find you. Ben looked like he might cry again, but happy tears this time. I've never had Santa come before. Foster homes don't usually do Santa. Well, this home does Santa, Mom said. And he's definitely coming tonight. So you both need to get to sleep. I walked upstairs with Ben. At his bedroom door, he stopped. Lily? Thanks for being nice to me tonight. And for letting me open a present first. That was really cool. You're welcome, I said. That's what sisters do, I guess. Look out for their brothers. Even when their brothers break special ornaments? Ben asked quietly. Even then, I said. Though maybe try not to break anything else. Ben smiled. I'll try really hard. I went to my room but I didn't fall asleep right away. I lay in bed thinking about everything. About how 2 weeks ago, I'd had my Christmas all planned out. Just me and my parents. My presents. My traditions. My perfect holiday. And then Ben came. And I'd been so angry. So resentful. So sure he was ruining everything. But lying there on Christmas Eve, I realized something. Maybe he hadn't ruined Christmas. Maybe he'd just changed it. Made it different. And different wasn't the same as bad. I thought about Ben's face when he opened that present. The wonder in his eyes. The disbelief that something with his name on it was actually his to keep. The way he'd said thank you like those books were the best thing he'd ever received. I took so much for granted. Presents and traditions and family. Things that were always there. Things I expected. But Ben expected nothing. Had learned not to hope for anything. And now he had a family who wanted him. A home that was his forever. A Christmas with his name on the presents. Maybe that was worth sharing. Maybe having a brother wasn't the worst thing that could happen. Maybe it was actually kind of good. I fell asleep thinking about Christmas morning. About watching Ben open presents. About his face when he realized he got to keep everything. About being his sister and what that might mean going forward. I woke up to someone shaking my shoulder. Lily. Lily, wake up. It's Christmas. I opened my eyes. Ben was standing next to my bed, already dressed, his hair sticking up in every direction. He looked excited. Actually excited. Not scared or sad or quiet. Just excited like a normal 7-year-old on Christmas morning. What time is it? I mumbled. 6, Ben said. Is that too early? Should I wait? I can wait if I need to. I sat up. 6 in the morning. I usually woke up at 7 on Christmas. But looking at Ben's face, at how hopeful he looked, I couldn't tell him to wait. Let's go wake up Mom and Dad, I said. We went to my parents' room together. Knocked on the door. My dad opened it, looking sleepy. Is it time? He asked. It's time, I said. My mom got up and put on her robe. We all went downstairs together. The living room looked magical with the tree lights on and the morning sun coming through the windows. And under the tree, there were even more presents than before. Santa had come. Ben stopped in the doorway. Just stopped and stared. There's more, he whispered. There are more presents. Santa came, my mom said. Just like we said he would. Ben walked slowly to the tree. Like he was afraid if he moved too fast, everything would disappear. He knelt down and looked at the tags. These say Ben. These are for me. From Santa. From Santa, my dad confirmed. Because you're part of this family now. And Santa comes for everyone in the family. I watched Ben's face. Watched him realize that this was real. That he got to have this. That he got to be part of a family that did Christmas with Santa and presents and traditions. And something shifted in me. Some last piece of resentment just melted away. Because how could I be mad about sharing Christmas when Ben had never had a real Christmas before? How could I resent him when this meant so much to him? Should we open presents? I asked. We settled around the tree. My dad played Christmas music. My mom made coffee for them and hot chocolate for us. And we started opening presents. Ben went slowly, carefully unwrapping each gift, reading each tag, saying thank you after every single present like he couldn't believe people had bought him things. He got books and clothes and toys, art supplies and games and a stuffed animal. Normal kid stuff. Stuff I'd been getting for years. But to Ben, it was everything. I opened my presents too. The doll I'd wanted. The art set. The bike with the basket. Everything I'd asked for. My parents hadn't forgotten about me. Hadn't given everything to Ben. They'd been fair, just like they promised. But I noticed something. I noticed that my pile was a little bigger than Ben's. Not a lot bigger, but bigger. And I realized my parents had tried to balance things. To make sure I didn't feel forgotten while also making sure Ben felt included. Thank you, I said to my parents. For everything. For the presents. And for making Christmas still special even though everything changed. Thank you for being flexible, my mom said. For adjusting. For being kind to your brother. We spent the morning playing with our new stuff. Ben wanted to read his books immediately. I wanted to try out my art set. My dad was looking at his woodworking book. My mom was drinking coffee and watching us all with this happy, content look on her face. Around noon, my mom started making Christmas dinner. Turkey and stuffing and all the traditional foods. She asked if we wanted to help. Usually, I helped her in the kitchen. It was our thing. But I looked at Ben, sitting on the couch with his books, and had an idea. Can Ben help instead? I asked. I want to work on my art set. My mom looked surprised but pleased. Of course. Ben, want to come help me cook? Ben looked up from his book. Really? I can help. Absolutely, Mom said. I could use an assistant. Ben went to the kitchen with my mom. I could hear them talking as they cooked. Mom explaining what everything was. Ben asking questions. Both of them laughing. I set up my art set in the living room. Started working on a drawing. And I realized I didn't mind that Mom was in the kitchen with Ben. Didn't mind that they were having their moment. Because Ben needed that. Needed to feel included. Needed to build his own relationships with our parents. And I could share. Could let him have time with Mom. Could be okay with not being the center of attention every second. Later, when dinner was ready, we all sat down together. The table was covered with food. Too much food for 4 people, but that was tradition. We always made too much. Before we eat, my dad said, I want to say something. This Christmas is special. Because our family grew. We added someone who needed a home. Someone who needed love. Someone who needed us. He looked at Ben. Ben, you are our son. You are Lily's brother. You are part of this family. Forever. No matter what. We love you. We're so glad you're here. Ben's eyes filled with tears. I love you too, he whispered. I never had a family that loved me before. Thank you for picking me. Thank you for trusting us, Mom said. We know it's scary. But you're safe now. You're home. We ate dinner. Ben actually ate this time. Actually took seconds. Actually looked relaxed and happy instead of scared and quiet. After dinner, we played games. Board games that Ben had never played before. I taught him the rules. Helped him when he didn't understand. Cheered when he won a round. And it felt good. Being a big sister. Teaching someone. Helping someone. Being needed. As the day was ending and the sun was setting, Ben and I ended up back in front of the Christmas tree. Just the two of us. Looking at the lights. This was the best Christmas ever, Ben said. I didn't think it could be this good. I didn't think families could be like this. Like what? I asked. Nice, Ben said. Kind. Not scary. Your family is really nice. Our family, I corrected. It's your family now too. Ben smiled. Our family. I like that. We sat in silence for a minute. Then Ben said, I'm really sorry about your grandma's ornament. I know I already said it. But I'm really, really sorry. I wish I could fix it. I thought about the ornament. About how angry I'd been. About how I'd yelled at him. About how I'd said Christmas was ruined. It's okay, I said. And I meant it. It was special. But you know what? Having you here is special too. Different special. But special. Really? Ben asked. Really, I said. I didn't think so at first. I thought you were ruining everything. But you weren't. You were just changing things. And change is okay. Sometimes it's even good. Right, I agreed. That's exactly what siblings do. I went to my own room and got into bed. My last thought before falling asleep was that maybe my parents had been right. Maybe having a brother was going to be wonderful. Maybe not right away. Maybe not perfectly. But eventually. And eventually was okay with me. The next morning, I woke up to my door opening slowly. Ben peeked his head in. Are you awake? I am now, I said, but I was smiling. Can I show you something? He asked. Sure. Ben came into my room holding something carefully. I made this for you. This morning. I woke up early and I used the art stuff Santa brought me. I hope it's okay. He handed me a piece of paper. On it, he'd drawn a picture. It wasn't very good, he was only 7, after all, but I could tell what it was. A Christmas tree. A family standing around it. 4 people. Mom, Dad, me, and Ben. I tried to draw the ornament too, Ben said, pointing to the tree. Your grandma's ornament. I know it's broken in real life. But in the picture, it's not broken. It's perfect. And it's hanging on the tree where it should be. I looked at the drawing. At the ornament he'd carefully drawn with colored pencils. At the family he'd drawn, all holding hands. At the effort he'd put into trying to make something nice for me. It's perfect, I said. My voice cracked a little. It's really perfect, Ben. Thank you. I just wanted to say sorry again, Ben said. And to show you that I wish it wasn't broken. That I wish I could fix it. I hugged him. Actually hugged him. My little brother. You can't fix the ornament. But you know what? This is better. Because this is something you made. Something that's special because it's from you. I'm going to hang it on my wall. And I did. Right next to my bed. Where I could see it every morning when I woke up. Over the next few days, as Christmas faded into the regular days after, Ben started settling in more. Started talking more. Started acting more like a normal kid and less like a scared foster kid waiting for everything to end. He and I played together sometimes. Read books together. Did art projects together. We weren't perfect. We still fought sometimes. Still got on each other's nerves. But that's what siblings do. And every time we fought, we made up. Every time he annoyed me, I remembered his garbage bags and his fear and his quiet voice asking if he could stay. One night, about a week after Christmas, my mom came to my room at bedtime. I wanted to thank you, she said. For how you've been with Ben. For giving him a chance. For becoming his sister. It's okay, I said. He's actually not so bad. Most of the time. My mom laughed. High praise from a 9-year-old. I mean it though, I said. I'm glad he's here. I didn't think I would be. But I am. That means everything, my mom said. To us. And to Ben. He told me yesterday that he finally believes we're not going to send him back. That he finally feels like this is real. What made him believe it? I asked. You, my mom said. The way you've included him. Played with him. Talked to him. Stood up for him at family dinner. He said if you wanted him here, then it must really be his home. Because you're honest. You don't fake things. I felt proud of that. Proud that Ben trusted me. Proud that I'd helped him feel safe. I wasn't honest at first, I admitted. I was pretty mean. You were adjusting, my mom said. That's different. But now you've adjusted. And you've chosen to be kind. To be his sister. That takes courage. After my mom left, I thought about everything that had happened. About Christmas 2 weeks ago that I'd been so sure would be ruined. About the ornament breaking and how angry I'd been. About all the times I'd resented Ben for existing. And I thought about Christmas morning. About Ben's face when he saw all the presents. About him saying thank you after every gift. About the picture he'd drawn for me. About how it felt to make him smile. My Christmas hadn't been ruined. It had just been different. And different had turned out to be pretty good. I got out of bed and went to Ben's room. He was already asleep, curled up with one of his new stuffed animals. He looked peaceful. Not scared anymore. Just a regular 7-year-old sleeping in his own bed in his own room in his forever home. I almost left. But then I thought of something. I went back to my room and carefully took down the drawing Ben had made. The one with the ornament that wasn't broken. The one with our family holding hands. I took it to the living room. The Christmas tree was still up, lights still twinkling. I looked at the empty spot where my grandmother's ornament used to hang. The spot that had been empty since Ben broke it. I took Ben's drawing and carefully hung it on that branch. Used a paper clip to secure it. It wasn't a glass ornament. It wasn't antique or delicate or from my grandmother. But it was special in its own way. Special because my brother had made it. Special because it represented something new, our family, together, all of us. I stepped back and looked at the tree. It looked complete now. Not the same as it had been, but complete in a different way. My dad came into the room. "What are you doing up, Lily?" "Just looking at the tree," I said. "Thinking about Christmas." He came and stood next to me. "Saw the drawing hanging where the ornament used to be. That's a nice touch," he said. "Ben would like that." "It's where it belongs," I said. "The ornament is gone. But this is here now. And it means something different. Something about family and second chances and forgiveness." My dad hugged me. "When did you get so wise?" "Probably when I became a big sister," I said. "It makes you grow up fast." We stood there together, looking at the tree. Looking at Ben's drawing hanging where the broken ornament used to be. A symbol of something lost and something gained. Something broken and something made new. "Are you happy?" my dad asked. "Really happy? About Ben being here?" I thought about it. Really thought about it. 2 weeks ago, I would have said no without hesitation. But now? "Yeah," I said. "I'm happy. It's been hard. And weird. And different from what I expected. But Ben's a good kid. And I think we're going to be good siblings. We just need time to figure it out." "You already are good siblings," my dad said. "I see how you look out for him. How you include him. How you're patient with him. That's exactly what being a big sister looks like." "He looks out for me too," I said. "In little ways. Like yesterday when I was drawing and couldn't get the shading right. He sat with me and helped. Didn't say I was doing it wrong. Just helped. That's what siblings do, I think." "That's exactly what siblings do," my dad agreed. The next morning, Ben came running into my room early. Again. This was apparently going to be a pattern with him. "Lily. Lily, come see. Come to the living room." I got up and followed him, rubbing sleep from my eyes. He led me to the Christmas tree. Pointed at the branch where I'd hung his drawing. "Did you do that?" he asked. "Did you hang my picture there?" "Yeah," I said. "I thought it should go where your ornament used to be. Is that okay?" Ben stared at the drawing. At his picture hanging on the tree with all the other ornaments. "It's more than okay. It's perfect. Does this mean you really forgive me? For breaking your grandma's ornament?" "I forgive you," I said. "And I'm sorry I yelled at you. I was upset. But I shouldn't have made you feel like you were going to get sent away. That wasn't fair." Ben hugged me. Tight. Like he'd been waiting for this moment. Waiting for proof that things were really okay between us. "You're the best sister," he said. "I was so scared you'd hate me forever. But you don't. You're actually nice to me." "Of course I'm nice to you," I said. "You're my brother. That's kind of the job." We stood there looking at the tree together. At the picture hanging where the ornament used to be. And I realized something. The ornament had been special because my grandmother gave it to me. Because it was old and beautiful and connected me to someone I loved. But this picture was special too. Special because my brother made it for me. Because it represented forgiveness and new beginnings and family. Because it wasn't about the past anymore. It was about the future. Want to make breakfast together? I asked Ben. I was thinking we could make pancakes. I can teach you. Ben's face lit up. Really? You teach me? That's what big sisters do, I said. They teach their little brothers stuff. Like making pancakes. And playing games. And how to survive in this family. We went to the kitchen. I showed Ben how to measure flour and crack eggs and stir the batter. We made a mess. Flour everywhere. Batter on the counter. But we were laughing. Actually having fun together. When my parents came downstairs, they found us making pancakes. Well, trying to make pancakes. The first few were pretty bad. Burned on one side, raw on the other. But the last few were actually good. We all sat down to breakfast together. Ben proudly served the pancakes he'd helped make. My parents praised them even though they weren't that great. And I realized this was what family felt like. Not perfect. Not like a magazine picture. But real. Messy and imperfect and full of love anyway. This is nice, Ben said through a mouthful of pancake. Sitting here with everyone. Eating breakfast. Being normal. This is normal now, my dad said. This is what every morning can be like. You, Lily, Mom and me. Family breakfast. Family life. I like family life, Ben said. A lot. Me too, I agreed. And I meant it. After breakfast, Ben asked if I wanted to play a game with him. Usually, I would have said I was busy. Would have wanted to play by myself. But I looked at his hopeful face and remembered what my mom said. About how I made him believe this was real. About how he trusted me. Sure, I said. What do you want to play? We spent the morning playing. Building things with his new Legos. Drawing pictures together. Reading books out loud. Just being siblings. Learning how to be together. Learning what it meant to be a family. And it was good. Really good. Different from having the house to myself. Different from being an only child. But good in a new way. At lunch, my mom asked what we wanted to do with the rest of the day. We could go to the park, she suggested. Or see a movie. Or just stay home and relax. Can we stay home? Ben asked. I just want to be here. In our house. With our family. Our house, my mom repeated, smiling. Our family. Yes, Ben. That's exactly what this is. We stayed home. Played more games. Watched a movie. Made cookies. Normal, boring, everyday things. But to Ben, they were special. Because he'd never had normal before. Never had boring. Never had everyday family life. And watching him experience it all made me appreciate what I had. Made me grateful for things I'd taken for granted. Made me realize how lucky I was. That night, as I was getting ready for bed, Ben knocked on my door. Can I ask you something? Sure, I said. Do you think next Christmas will be even better than this one? He asked. Now that we know each other? Now that we're really siblings? I thought about it. About this Christmas. About how scared I'd been that it would be ruined. About how angry I'd been when Ben broke the ornament. About how I thought having a brother would ruin everything. But it hadn't ruined anything. It had just changed things. Made them different. Made me different too. Made me more patient. more understanding, more aware of how lucky I was. Yeah, I said. I think next Christmas will be even better. Because we won't be figuring everything out for the first time. We'll already know how to be siblings. We'll already know how to be a family. I can't wait, Ben said. I've never had a next Christmas before. I've never known I'd be in the same place with the same people. But now I do. Now I know exactly where I'll be next Christmas. Right here. With you and Mom and Dad. Right here, I confirmed. Because this is your home. Forever. Ben smiled and went to his room. I got into bed and looked at the drawing on my wall. The one Ben had made for me. The one with our family and the perfect ornament that wasn't broken. And I thought about my grandma. About what she would have said if she knew what happened. If she knew Ben broke her ornament. If she knew I'd been angry but then forgiven him. If she knew I'd hung his drawing where her ornament used to hang. I think she would have understood. I think she would have said that people are more important than things. That forgiveness is more valuable than glass. That family, even new family, unexpected family, is worth making room for. I fell asleep thinking about next Christmas. About what traditions we'd keep and what new ones we might start. About watching Ben open presents without being scared. About him believing in Santa and in families and in forever. My Christmas hadn't been ruined. My parents bringing Ben home hadn't destroyed everything. It had just transformed it. Made it bigger. Made room for one more person. One more set of gifts. One more place at the table. One more member of our family. And that was okay. More than okay. That was good. Because I had what I'd always wanted for Christmas. A family that loved each other. Traditions that mattered. Presents and cookies and lights and joy. I just had more of it now. More family. More love. More people to share Christmas with. And Ben had what he'd never had before. A home. Parents. A sister. A Christmas with his name on the presents. A family that chose him. A forever. That was worth sharing Santa's gifts. Worth sharing the attention. Worth sharing everything. Because some things get better when you share them. And family is one of those things.